New friend Paddy Brunetti is a visual artist with an awesome day job, which I don't think we're going to talk about too much today. But she's been painting her entire life. And I've seen some of her work. It's absolutely amazing. It's really cool, creative stuff. And I thought we would kind of go down the artist pathway here a little bit, the creative pathway a little bit. Patty, how are you today? How's it going?
I'm I'm doing very well. How are you,
I'm
Dave?
very good. The sun is shining, and
Yes.
the lawnmower guy's outside the window. Huh? Anyhow, um, I'm curious. You seem to be very prolific. You seem to be, you've painted your whole life. I mean, has this COVID pandemic or this crazy moment of flux, has it altered your creative efforts at all? I mean, in terms of, quantity or tone or anything, how has it impacted your creative work?
I don't think it's changed anything in terms of quantity, but I think it's made me and others, I think differently about life in general. I think I was thinking about this. What's different? And life is life, but it feels a lot less superficial than before because of having to stop and really think about what matters and what when you're faced with serious issues, life and death, which we always had to look at before, but now it's like the quiet and the stop racing around so much makes you and you have to wear the masks and you have to kind of fight that battle with yourself and sometimes with others because of what's going on. I think life in some ways is a little bit less frivolous. Although frivolity is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's that, but it's just I think that's what's a little bit different. So
Hmm.
that permeates everything from going to the grocery store to getting together or not with family
Hmm.
to what you do creatively.
Right.
So yes, it has an impact, but
Hmm.
that makes art not necessarily different from anything else in a
Hmm.
way
And nor
because it's impacting everything.
nor should it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Art
Yeah.
doesn't happen in a vacuum. So.
Correct. Correct. So it's like everything else, and so yes, I still do about the same amount, but then I think, what am I doing with this?
Hmm.
And should there be something that gets communicated through art that is a different message or a deeper message or and I don't know that I have the answer yet.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Just like I don't know that I have the answer in other aspects of my life with regard to COVID, except wear a mask, wash your hands.
Well, right. I mean, it isn't. I mean, there obviously is great philosophy and far better
Hmm.
quotes on this whole subject than I could possibly come up with. But it's something to the effect of, um, having the questions is more important than having the answers. You know what I
Right,
mean? I mean,
right,
you'll get
right.
to the answers, but as long as you're asking the right questions, your head is screwed on straight. That kind of thing.
Right. It makes me value things like art
Hmm.
and poetry and music and human connection
Hmm.
more, I think. I think that's
Hmm.
also something that these times have
Hmm.
done. It's, some things are worth less and some things are worth more
Hmm.
now because of what's happening.
Sure.
So that's
Have you observed any? I mean, outside of the work that you do and the
mhm.
paintings you work on, whatever. I mean, the artistic community in general. I mean, what have you observed? That's a pretty big community, but
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah.
what have you observed?
Well, I think what's also interesting is this intersection of what's going on with the disease that we're struggling with and politics.
Hmm.
And so I think that also, people losing their livelihoods and the dynamics of our political situation and 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 artists struggling with what to do about that and then struggling with how our government and our politicians are helping or hurting. And so again, I don't necessarily have an answer there, but I
Hmm.
think it's very interesting that artists are starting to express themselves with regard to these two big waves of activity that are happening. And then, of course,
Hmm.
behind that is the whole ecological source of the
Mhm.
disease,
Mhm.
right? How
Mhm.
did this happen to begin with?
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's because of, I think, some of the things that we're doing to the planet
Mhm.
and to the to you know to the wildlife, and
Sure.
how did this happen and what are we going to do to stop it? So I
Yeah.
think artists are starting to also to, and people in general, there's a big effort to figure that out, and then
Mhm.
there's controversy around that too.
Sure.
So
Right. It's one controversy leads to
yeah,
another
it's just a
controversy.
big giant controversy in all
Yeah.
these different dimensions of
Right.
life.
Right.
So
It's the old Ouroboros thing, the serpent that's
mhm,
eating his tail.
right.
And just to wrap up, I'm going to ask you the question I ask everybody, which is, Patty, what lessons have we learned or are we learning right now that we just must not forget?
Wait, I think we have to slow down. I think we have to look. We have to look inward. We have to really prioritize what really matters. We only have a certain amount of time, and we have to take some things very seriously.
Hmm.
And I think no matter what side of any particular argument you're on, I think the goodness in all of this is that people are taking things seriously,
Hmm.
and they are arguing or advocating for what they think matters.
Hmm.
And I think that is very interesting and encouraging. Again, no matter where you land on any particular
Hmm.
argument, it's that people are caring a lot more
Hmm.
right now. And I know there's a lot of people talk about divisiveness and whatnot, but people they have a lot more skin in the game, I think, than they did before.
Yeah.
And I see that as a good thing
Yeah.
overall.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
at the end of the day, you're optimistic.
I think so. I think people, like I said, they are engaged.
Hmm.
They are participating. They're not sitting on the sidelines saying, "Oh, I don't know, give me the remote, let me change the channel and look for some
No,
entertainment," right?
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
They're out there, fighting, advocating, arguing for what they believe in,
Right.
or what they believe in.
Right.
So that's
Excellent.
good, I think.
I think it absolutely is. And Patty, it's so good to see you again, and I look forward to our future very cool conversations. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it. Thanks for doing this. All right. Take care.